I want to talk about anger and how it really is beneficial if you know how to use it. It's not bad, it's not to be avoided, it's not to be gotten rid of, although it is possible for you to live without anger. I know because I live there now. Not saying that I'm perfect or above anyone or that anger can't come up. It just isn't very common for me at all anymore. It's not one of my main emotions. Now, the reason I want to speak about anger is because this week I have had 3 friends tell me stories about responding in anger, and it seems to be a common theme right now, so I take that as a sign that I should talk about it. Because it's relevant, it's real. I know people just feel... Well, I know because I've listened to the stories of people that just beat themselves up when they respond or act out in anger, and I had the tendency to do the same thing. Sucks. It just makes it worse. Anyway, I never believed that anger was something to be managed. I always thought that you could be free from it. Luckily, my life experience has proved that that's true. It's possible. So it is something that can be really transmuted into something beautiful, but it's not wrong. And it's not bad, it just is. So, it's a hard one. It's a hard one. Because it really is a secondary emotion. It's not one of those there's always something underneath anger. So, the way I heard anger explained once was that you respond in anger when you perceive that something is unjust. Unjust. Unjust? Unjust. You know what I'm saying? So that's the first layer. You perceive injustice, and then you feel angry. You feel like, well, this isn't right. I don't like this. And you kind of it comes up in your body. And then a deeper level is you feel anger when you are actually not able to feel or repressing or suppressing sadness or fear. So the first emotion should have been fear or sadness, but you weren't able to or didn't let yourself feel that, so it immediately turned into anger. Common for a lot of men, probably more men than women. So the first one, perceived injustice. The deeper layer, fear or sadness. And then if you want to get spiritual and go even deeper, it's just a sign that there's an attachment. So you are attached to something. You believe something should be a certain way, or it shouldn't be a certain way, or there's a outcome that should have happened, shouldn't have happened, whatever. You're attached to an idea. And when that attachment wasn't fulfilled or seen, anger is the result. So let's just cover all of those. Oh man, I was angry for so long. It's not very fun. It's not a fun energy to feel. It really just consumes you. It feels like your entire body is just internally on fire and there's just no way to put it out. And then it gets so hot that it just seems like you can't control it. It's going to burn something or someone. And it often does. And then later, you cool down, the fire's out, but then there's just a mess to clean up. There are ashes from everything you burned, including yourself. And it's just not fun. And I get it. I am not speaking from a place that I think I'm better or higher. I've just really worked through a lot of anger, so I understand, and I want to talk about it because it might be helpful to some people. And honestly, this might sound judgmental, but I don't mean it that way. If you have a lot of anger, really any anger actually, it's really, that has to be dealt with before there's any kind of like awakening or seen through. Because once you see through the veil, so to speak, and you just are really aware of your thoughts and how things are operating, like once you see that, that's kind of what kills the anger. You don't get angry anymore. Throw all other beliefs about ego aside. Just seeing through the entire system. But at first, it's needed. So it's this weird paradox. Let me explain. When you first start to notice, I mean like the very beginning stages of what people call awakening or waking up or maturing or getting older, I don't know what it's called. There's this thing that happens. You start to look around at the world and you start to notice things that you didn't notice before. You start to become more aware of things in yourself that you weren't aware of before. And you just start to slowly change. The problem is when you start to see through the illusion that we all just so easily put over our eyes to just live our daily lives in a normal fashion, you start to see all the control and I guess you could call it evil, but like you look at, how bigger corporations work and how the system works as a whole and how you operate and how the collective operates and all these social roles we play. And like, it's so twisted that the only rational, normal response is a lot of anger. I got so pissed at first. I just thought like, why am I the only one that sees this? What's wrong with everyone else faking it? What the hell is wrong with our society? Why is everyone just acting like there's no problems when we're all on the brink of insanity? Like what is this? And I just freaked out. And that's completely normal. When you start to awaken to who you truly are, you get mad. You just get mad. If you don't, you're probably not really starting to see. So this is the first stage. Eventually, you will get to a place where you see through it all so deeply that the love is the normal, natural response. But at first, it's usually anger. Okay, so then something else happens. You go from blaming everything and everyone and the system and the illusion and other people to slowly you kind of reel it into noticing, oh, I'm actually the problem. So let me give a practical example. I was working years ago at this place that was very corrupt. Well, it wasn't. Yeah, it kind of was. And one of the guys working there was really corrupt. I mean, he was like hiding stuff and lying about certain things and really pocketing a lot of money in a kind of smart way. But it got to the point where he got greedy and he started hiding more and more and more to where the higher ups in this business caught him. They were like, hey, yo, nobody in your job makes that much. How is this happening? And anyway, he got caught. The whole kind of department that we were in kind of got really closed down, tightened up. We had all the guys in suits coming in and analyzing our every move. And, we all got lumped into, we're the bad guys. Like, if this guy's doing it, maybe everyone else is doing it. Now, nobody else was doing it. It was one guy. So naturally, I got mad because he affected my job. I started making less. My job got harder. I was being watched now because of this guy's greed. So I thought, this guy's a problem. So I got really mad. I started talking in a rude way. I would challenge. I would push. I would get in his face. And one time, we almost got in a fight because he denied everything, but it was out in the open. Everybody knew he did it, and he still denied that he did it. So I got in his face and, called him a liar and was just inches from getting in a fist fight at work. And I drove him over the edge so far. We didn't actually fight, but I was pushing and the things coming out of my mouth were terrible. And I remember in the middle of that, I had this moment of clarity, which actually stopped me. And I just turned around and walked away. And the thought was, my response to what he did is actually, like, the way that I'm acting right now in this moment is worse. I am a bigger problem right now than he is. And it really humbled me quick. And it was like a pivotal moment where I realized, oh, if I respond to everything external with so much anger that I start causing problems, then the problem becomes me. So it really shifted in that moment from external to internal. And I thought, oh, wow, I don't even need to be angry. He ended up getting fired and having to, go to court and do all this stuff. Like, it had nothing to do, it got handled without me being angry or being a problem. So at first you get mad, you think it's everyone else's fault. I thought it was this guy's fault. And yeah, he did something that wasn't great. But my response was equally not great, maybe even worse. So then you start to really get humble and realize, oh, okay, my anger is not solving the problem. And actually, maybe a bigger problem in the present moment than the problem is my anger. So then you turn inward and you start asking, okay, what's underneath this anger? Now, there was the perceived injustice. It was unjust to, steal money and cripple the whole department and mess with everyone else's jobs. But then underneath that, the next level, the fear or sadness, I was scared that if I lost my job, I wouldn't be able to provide for my family. I was just about to have another baby. And then underneath that, if we're going to the deepest level of attachment, there was a lot. There was a lot of attachments. I was attached to the job. I was attached to my position. I was attached to security. I was attached to the way that I was perceived at work as, one of the good guys, somebody that had morals and all that stuff. And there was just so much. There was so much to look at just in this one instance in my life. So I really just did the shadow work on that and dove as deep as I could dive. And that's just kind of, that's a coworker and it's a situation that wasn't super involved. This isn't like a family member or something really deep or really involved happening. So this is like, I was able to look at it. But you just do that enough times. So eventually my blow-ups like that, me getting in people's faces and blowing up on people, that really stopped happening because I knew too much. I was looking inward too much. And so if I even began to do that, I would instantly think, oh, okay, well, I obviously have fear, sadness, or an attachment here. And I was too aware to do it without thinking about it at the same time. So it became less and less because I became more aware that the anger is coming from me. It's not caused from the outside. Now, you keep doing that. And sometimes it's the same attachments, the same fear, the same sadness. But oftentimes it's different. So you'll find a different attachment, a different fear, a different sadness. And eventually what happens, instead of just intellectually digging your way down and finding these, what happened for me is I was intellectually digging myself down and finding it. I was doing the mental part of the shadow work, but I was missing the emotional part. So then after years of doing that, I became a little less angry, but there was still a lot of anger in there. And it's because I was mentally understanding my anger, but I wasn't actually letting myself feel what was underneath. Now, if you just say, oh, I got angry, I shouldn't have done that, well, that doesn't go anywhere. You'll get angry again and you'll say the same thing. Or if you put spiritual concepts on it, like, oh, that was just my ego, I need to not live for my ego, like that stuff doesn't help. So let's just throw out the concepts and really get to the bottom of the emotion and the feeling that we're trying to ignore with all the concepts, even the shadow work. Now, when you dig yourself all the way down, you can do this mentally. What happens is the key part of this is you do have to dig down to get to the root of the tree, so to speak. You've got to get to the bottom of it before you can feel it, because otherwise you don't know what you're feeling. So you find out where the anger is coming from. And if it's fear, if it's sadness, if you need to cry, which you probably do, then you feel it. When you get to the bottom of it, you feel it. And feeling it dissolves it and releases it. And the more you do that, I guarantee you, because this is what happened to me, you don't get angry anymore. You just stop responding in anger. Not because you feel it and you're like, oh, I shouldn't do that. That doesn't happen. It just doesn't come up because you've dealt with it. So you can be in a situation and not be pushing it down or repressing it. You can genuinely not feel it in your body when most people would. And then you're at the place to truly be able to love and help or walk away if needed from the person or situation in front of you with peace, not because you're scared of your anger. To give another example, I've helped quite a few exes actually get through some like parent trauma, not even on purpose. Just our conversations went there and stuff happened. It was kind of cool. So one in particular, she had a really, a lot of distrust with her mother. She didn't like her. She thought she gossiped a lot. She lied a lot. She was very closed off when her mother was around. And there was not much of a relationship there. And one day, after her mother came around and then left, she was, I had to deal with her kind of struggling for days after her mom left. And I was kind of annoyed. It was a selfish motivation this time for me. So I kind of cornered her and was asking her, like, what is it? Like, what's the big deal? Like, what is it about your mom that bothers you so much? Why are you acting like this? And, some stuff was coming up. She started to tell me and she started to get emotional. And I just kept asking her, like, what is it? What is it? Like, what do you want to say? And she was stopping herself, I could tell, from going there. And I just intuitively knew, like, she needs to go there. So I just kept pushing her. And I was like, tell me how you feel about your mom. And I just pushed her enough. She just, with a lot of emotion, just finally said it out loud. She just yelled, I hate my mom. I hate her. It was beautiful. To which I just hugged her and she broke down. And the craziest thing happened after this. See, this is where we stop ourselves because we don't want to admit, we don't want to feel that, but it's fine. It's okay. You can hate your parents. It doesn't matter. Because here's what happened. Here's the beautiful part of the story. The very next time I saw her with her mom, it was not like every other time. Something shifted. And I don't know what. I just watched from a distance. I didn't push her anymore after that. I just watched. And then over the course of the next few months, it kept changing and kept changing to where now if you saw that same person with their mom, you would think they were best friends. How's that possible? She hated her. She had all this distrust. She had all these issues. The hate wasn't the problem. The anger wasn't the problem. It was not admitting it and not feeling it because there's shame attached. So your thoughts will come in and stop this. And that's what having an ego death is so beautiful for this process because you stop believing your thoughts. Your entire life can change if you stop believing your thoughts. Your thoughts come in and tell you it's shameful, you can't feel that, it's your parent. Forget all that stuff. If you feel it in the moment, be really honest. Say it, feel it, either with yourself or one trusted person. For me, it was with myself. And wow, when you just let that out, you can start. That's the starting point. That's where the healing begins. That's where the releasing, the forgiveness, the letting go. So, if you're not able to feel or you don't even know why you're angry, like me in my past, you just got to start small. Ask myself, wow, why did I get so mad? What was it about that bothered me? Now, try not to listen to the next thoughts. They're like, oh, you shouldn't feel that way. Oh, this is shameful. It's embarrassing. Don't tell anyone. Oh, try to look a certain way. Forget that. If you got angry, you got angry. There's no point in trying to hide it or mask it or try not to get angry again. That causes more problems. If you're mad, you're mad. Just let yourself be mad and get curious about it. Judgment will kill it, and you will not grow. If you judge yourself or gaslight yourself, you won't grow. You got to treat yourself like a 4 or 5-year-old kid. Hug. Ask what's wrong. Ask what caused it. See how there's a better way to resolve it next time. Like just basic stuff. But curiosity has to be stronger than your judgment, so you can get deeper and deeper. And honestly, at first, it's just a lot of work. It's a lot of grind. It takes a lot of effort. But eventually, it gets less and less and less and less until you just don't respond in anger. And then you can get on here and make a video like this talking about it, because I love not being angry. Now, sometimes that feeling in my body still comes up. Like, I remember when I used to fight people, right before you get in a fight, you get that, like, your chest gets kind of tight and my knees kind of shook a little, and it was like, all right, game on. Oh, occasionally I have felt that to like a percent that I used to. And then I just know, oh, something's bothering me. And then I kind of look into it. But it rarely happens now. And even if someone's crazy or violent or blows up on me, it's pretty easy to just kind of see that they're struggling. But I feel it. I'm not gaslighting myself. I genuinely feel love and peace for that person in front of me. Now, if I didn't and I really did get angry, I wouldn't try to lie to myself with a spiritual concept and say, well, I can see that they're struggling. If you're actually angry, just who cares about all those concepts? What we want to do is live this stuff. We don't want to talk about it. It's the irony of YouTube. I'm talking about it. But if you followed me around through my day, you would just see that I'm not an angry person now. Now, if you followed me around 2 or 3 years ago, you'd think, wow, this guy's something wrong with this guy. So I hope that's a good, a couple pointers, starting place. Just know underneath anger is fear, sadness, a perceived injustice, keyword perceived. It might not always be accurate, but it's still perceived. And at the very bottom, if you want to go there, there's probably a few attachments. And just looking at them without judging yourself, please, just look at them. You're not bad for feeling anger, even if you act out on it. If I grew up the same way you did, had the same parents, had the same memories and set of circumstances, I would have acted the same way. It's knowing that, it's seeing that, it's feeling that gives you compassion for other people. You got to have it for yourself when you're trying to root out anger. But it's hard. I get it. I get that part. But it's possible, and I do not speak from knowledge. I'm speaking from experience. It's really beautiful and easy and peaceful to live without it. And it's really hard and just feels like hell when you're living in it. And I know, because I've experienced both. I think I'll stop there before I keep ranting. As always, thanks for watching. And if you're new, I've had some new people subscribe. I always forget. Thank you for being here and listening. All right.